Kainom.
Hello and welcome back to Small Screen Stories. I hope you guys are doing well. We've got so much to talk about today. We've got Clint on the show and we're going to be chatting about Wolverine. Is Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine in the MCU? Who knows? We're going to be talking about Stephen Dorff. He's been saying some weird stuff about everything, and Black Widow in particular. We're going to be talking about Richard Donner, who very sadly passed away. We'll be probably talking about the movies that he's made and some of our favorite movies that he's made over the years. We'll be talking about The Witcher season 2. There we've got a release date for that. What else will we be talking about? We've got so much stuff to talk about today, so we will get into all of that in a bit. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. So hello to Bobby Anderson. I hope you're doing well, Bobby. Hello to Dan Zig, 1979. I think Dan and I are rather happy because England are in a final of a soccer event, the Euros, which is really weird. That's this Sunday, but we won't be talking about that much. And we got Reese in the chat as well. He says hello there, and he also asks, "Is James back?" James isn't he's not available to join us this evening, so there'll probably be fewer clips than usual because I can't talk and do the clips at the same time. And then we've got who else? We've got Clint in the chat as well, who he's behind the scenes and already chatting to people. So he's saying, "Hey gang." We've got Leroy Kong in the chat. He says, "Hello, happy weekend. R.I.P. to Richard Donner. Great live. We need more Hugh Jackman." Hello to you, Leroy, and you are right about all those things. He also says, "Good luck to England." Thank you. I think you're Jamaican. Thank you very much. That's very, very nice of you. My wife's Italian, so it's going to be quite a weird Sunday, I'm going to be honest. And Dan Zig says, "Oh yes, Ed, I'm very happy." So he's obviously very happy about England being in the final. Clint says James was fired for interrupting Edward one too many times. That's not the case. that's not the case. And Reese says it's coming home. Please, Reese. Refrain from using that horrible sentence. I hate that sentence. And it's also, I think it jinxes everything. And yes, football is English, but what does it's coming home really mean? Italy have won the Euros many more times than England. England have only won it no times. They've never won it. So we've I don't know what's going to happen. I think Italy's going to win, unfortunately, but that's just me being pessimistic. So let me bring in Clint after all that soccer talk. How are you doing, Clint?
Hey, what's happening?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I haven't been watching the football around here. Football.
But you say it like a German.
Foot. It's F-U-T. Football. Yeah.
A lot of people are commenting about it, so I thought I might as well talk about it a bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you're excited, dude. I like seeing your Twitter and you're always like, "Ah!" You know?
Yeah, I went a bit nuts. On I think it was a France game. I was watching France because I live here, and there was a penalty that was given against France that I just thought was absolutely ridiculous, and I was like, I went off on one on Twitter. I did, but yeah, I want to know what you think about the possibility of Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine in the MCU. So this happened after he posted some stuff on his Instagram, where he posted an image of him with Kevin Feige, followed by he reposted on Instagram stories a poster that was done by Boss Logic, and Boss Logic is someone on social media that does a lot of fan posters. What did you make of it? Do you think this means anything, or are you reading too much into this?
Boss Logic also gets hired to do stuff for Disney also, but so that's like yeah, I highly doubt that he would be revealing something that he's secretly working for. You know what I mean? Boss Logic would be unemployed forever. But and do I think it's possible? I think it's possible.
Yes.
I think it's possible. There's a lot of theories regarding Hugh Jackman's his Instagram posts.
Yes.
And I have things to say about all those. I don't know how far you want me to get. How far you want me to jump ahead?
Go for it. This is the segment.
This is the
show.
Time to do it.
This is the time.
Yeah. Well, like there are some people that are of the thought that no, this is a bunch of baloney, and it is possible that Hugh Jackman is just messing with us. He's done it in the past. He's played a lot with Ryan Reynolds and done stuff. He did stuff where it's them two together, and people thought he was going to be in Deadpool, and he didn't end up. We're like, holy crap! And a lot of YouTubers were reporting on it, like it's going to happen. It's happening, which is exactly what's happening right now. So there is a possibility that he is messing with it. He's just having fun. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to jump on and kind of stir the pot a little bit. That's a possibility. And there's also the thing that, but let me not jump ahead of myself. There's the theory that I've heard that he was doing a tribute to Richard Donner. Richard Donner, he executive produced X-Men and Future Past, and his wife, with their company, they worked on all of the X-Men films. He's friends with him. Now the people will look at the dates and they'll say, yeah, but he posted it before the death. But then there's others that say, yeah, but they're friends. They've known each other including Feige. Feige was actually Richard Donner's wife, Lauren. Feige, one of his first jobs was being her assistant. She was in what movie? Volcano. In Volcano. And so they've all known each other. But I don't think that's what that is. Because think about that. I mean, just think about it. Yes, it's possible that he knew before everyone else because he's in the loop, before they make a press release and all that, and a few phone calls are passed around to people that know each other. That is possible. But think about it, man. Like, if your friend dies, are you going to make a post like Edward, say something terrible happened to you? I hope nothing terrible ever happens to you, but say something happened to you. Do you think I'm going to post a picture with James? And they're like, oh, that picture of James and Clint, that's a tribute to Edward. No, that's not that. You know what I mean? I think it's a coincidence. I think he might have put the Claus picture, and then just for fun to stir the pot, put a picture of him and Feige, and then coincidentally in the same week the tragedy happened. Yeah. And because Hugh Jackman's a stand-up dude. Thank you. He's a stand dude, and who is gonna take away from that moment? This is a moment of mourning and tragedy. That's like yesterday on my advice show. Somebody asked me if I thought it would be uncouth to propose to somebody at another person's wedding, and I said, absolutely. Are you kidding? You're gonna steal the thunder, the bride's magic day, and you're gonna steal the spotlight off of them. It would be kind of the same thing if Hugh Jackman was like, oh, the tragedy, Richard Donner passed, but look at me, Wolverine. It would be ridiculous for him to do that. And I know that it's really easy for a conspiracy theorist or somebody who's hopeful or somebody who's negative, who wants to look at everything negatively, whatever colored glasses you're wearing, if you're wearing some Wolverine colored glasses, you're going to find some Wolverine things in the mix somewhere. And I think that's what people are doing. We all want to see that. So now so do I think those pictures are that he posted are signaling that it's a conspiracy? He did it as a message because him and Donner and Feige all work together. That's ridiculous. But what isn't ridiculous? And Hitler. And now I'm getting ahead of myself too. I had all these thoughts after earlier today when I was walking my dog. My dog Chloe. And there's another thing the Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart, I heard an interview a while back where Patrick Stewart got asked if he would do that. He actually met with Feige, I think, sometime in November. Yeah, and he said no. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I would have if it weren't for the last thing. But I even had a interview pulled up.
He said that. Didn't he say something along the lines that I would have done it if we hadn't done Logan?
Yes,
something like that, because of the way the character ended in that.
It wasn't just that. It was because they looked at each other. Explain over. They had an emotional moment at the Berlin Film Festival where they screened it. It was a really sad, intense thing, and him and Hugh were both like, both touched at the movie, everyone's reaction, their own, and they both just kind of had it was kind of a funeral for their characters. And they said, you know what, man, we've been doing this for 20 years. They're friends, and they said, you know, this is a great way for those characters to go out, and it should stay that way. You know, but until then, I mean, until now, there's been no reason to bring them back, and like, but now we have they could be variants. They could be so there is a reason, and it's just like I don't know if you were talking about it before on this channel at one point, but there is a possibility that like you could do that, and you could just play, and it's real easy in pure Feige fashion to just be like, oh yeah, just keep it secret and deflect all that. No, that's crazy. I told you, we already talked about this last year. I would never do that. But you're not playing the same character. You're playing a variant of that character, a different universe of that character. So yes, it is possible. Is it going to happen? I think it would be fun to have a cameo pop in, and I think maybe it'll happen during Doctor Strange. I don't know, but maybe.
Reese brought up a good point. Said, imagine if Hugh Jackman is just voicing Wolverine for a secret What If episode.
That's it.
Which that'd be interesting. Here we've got I can't see it happening, says Danzig. Feige wants an actor right now that can grow in the role over multiple films. Then again, could be a variant, as you were saying. Hashtag producer James for Wolverine. That's the first time I've seen that hashtag. He would be a good Wolverine, actually. He'd be a very good Wolverine. And then Reese says, I mean, the Boss Logic thing doesn't mean anything. It's its own, but the Kevin Feige picture, too, gets my hopes up. Yeah. And then Leroy Kong says, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, which he is. Danzig replies to Reese 75, says, I'll take your suggestion and raise you. Maybe Hugh is joining the MCU as another character, Reed Richards. Now, that's an interesting idea. I don't think that's happening. What I think could happen is that this has been long rumored as well, is that Hugh Jackman could turn up in the Wolverine film, in the Deadpool film. And we know for a fact that Ryan Reynolds has been desperately trying to get Hugh Jackman in a Deadpool film for a very, very long time. The two of them would work brilliantly together in a movie. The Deadpool film, as far as I see it, like as far as the MCU is concerned, it's going to be in the middle. It's going to be like in its own kind of weird pocket universe, I think. And it's like, I think he's going to be able to travel across different time, like multiverses and things like that. There are rumors that Deadpool is going to kind of be the new Stan Lee kind of cameo in every single Marvel movie, which I think would be great.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be a really good way of doing it. That would be a really good, cool thing of doing. It might be very expensive because Ryan Reynolds isn't cheap. But then I just think a third Deadpool film, billing it as a Wolverine Deadpool kind of almost buddy cop movie, that would be so good. And I wonder whether they're angling towards that. And I think that's the only thing to me that I think would get Hugh Jackman to go, okay, I'll come back to play the character. Like I think that would be enough of a pull, like working with Ryan Reynolds, someone that he's obviously wanted to work with for some time, and coming back to that character in a kind of different format as well, because I think he'd be a variant. He'd be playing a different version of Wolverine, maybe Wolverine that's not actually Wolverine, and I think that'd be quite funny. Like Deadpool's tried for so long to work alongside Wolverine, and then the one he ends up getting is just some nobody that doesn't have the claws but just is Hugh Jackman. Maybe
he's like
just
a
Hugh
cop
Jackman
or something,
or is just Hugh Jackman in the movie and he's just playing himself. I think that'd be really funny.
You look just like Wolverine. Yeah, that's totally something you would do.
Yeah, I honestly think the more I've been thinking, maybe I've been overthinking it, but the more I've been thinking about it, I'm like, that's happening. And I've now convinced myself that this is what this is all about.
They could even do something funny like the way they had Wolverine in the bar and in Future Past where he just like go fuck yourself, and that's all you see of him, it's like it'd be funny.
So we got some comments. So Raj says, "Hey guys, just jumped in. So Feige's bringing Jackman back. Well, they've met, haven't they? And Hugh Jackman posted the picture on Instagram. Then Reese says Hugh Jackman is playing a variant of Ryan Reynolds. That could be funny.
That would be awesome too. Yeah, it's like, and for them to, oh my God, they have a picture together. They must have just met last week.
Well, that's
Dude,
the thing.
they've known each other since the '90s. They've been friends since the '90s. You think they haven't been at a Comic-Con together, or everyone? Yeah, I mean, Hugh Jackman has looked.
Hugh Jackman looks young in that picture. I have to say.
I mean, he looked exactly the same for 40 years, but but yeah, that could be 10 years ago. It could be 5 years ago. You know, it could have been anything. So
I think this is an old picture. I'm pretty sure this is an old picture. It's the thing that he did this, then posted that. So it was like this was the first image he posted, then that was the second one. So it's like he's teasing people. He's obviously teasing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah, I really think he is. And then Danzig says, "I think you're right, Ed. Hugh in Deadpool 3 makes sense. It makes the most sense. Then again, maybe he's after your job as Captain Britain. No fucking way. Sorry, Hugh Jackman. No Australian will ever play Captain Britain. I'm sorry about that." And Leroy Kong says Hugh Jackman still looks great. He does look incredible. He looks really, really good. But I mean, who we're talking about this now, because that was out there. That is now, I saw loads of people talking about this on Twitter, being like, "Oh my God, this is confirmation." It's not confirmation. It isn't confirmation that it's happening. What it's confirmation is that Hugh Jackman and Kevin Feige get on, and that Hugh Jackman still likes to tease people. And I think if anything's going to happen, it's that he's going to be in Deadpool 3. I think that makes the most sense. If he's ever going to come back to the character, because I do think that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios in general wants to bring in a new version of the character, a younger actor, so that they could kind of mold that character into like a future, like their future Spider-Man or something like that, because that's kind of going in a bit of a weird direction as well. The Spider-Man films, with all the stuff going on with Sony and all the plans they have with the character, they might be looking for another character to kind of lean upon. To be, I mean, Wolverine might be a bit of a weird choice, but I definitely think they want to go younger with that character.
They do.
What do you think?
They absolutely do. And he's also tired. He's 53. He's tired of working out. He's said it plenty of times. Now that doesn't mean they couldn't put him in a suit. You know what I mean? and not Shazam guys don't have to work out to be that big. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, they could put him in a suit. And get I was gonna make a Jupiter's legacy joke. I'm just gonna let that one go. But so it's possible, and especially if it's just a cameo spot, they don't have to get him Hugh Jackman. To get him quite as hench as he is, but I mean, it could totally happen. I think too, from when I hear the multiverse of madness is going to be crazy.
Yeah,
is what I've heard, and like already Loki's getting pretty nuts. You know what I mean? So who knows? Who knows where they're gonna go with it? You know what I mean? Like, it's really cool, and I really think him being in What If is not an impossibility.
That's a good shout. That's a very good shout. I think that show's going to do some weird stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm really looking forward to that. Dan says, I did read that photo is from about 6 years ago. It looks like it probably is about 6 years ago. And then who else? To be honest, Leroy Kong says, to be honest, I don't think anyone can replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I think someone can. I mean, I was always in the camp of Taron Egerton as Wolverine. I think he would make a really good Wolverine. I think one of the things that Marvel's really good at is casting. They've really cast their superheroes very well, and if it doesn't go right, they just recast. I mean, look at Rhodes, for instance. Who was originally Rhodes? I'm forgetting his name. Rhodey in Iron Man. In the first Iron Man, it was a different actor from Iron Man 2. And they did it with Bruce Banner as well. So it was Edward Norton originally, and then Mark Ruffalo. And Mark Ruffalo, I liked Edward Norton, but I think Mark Ruffalo is a much, much better Bruce Banner.
Way better. He's perfect for the role.
Reese75 says they could be bringing back Hugh to one up DC, bringing back Keaton. Probably. That's a good shout, actually. Yeah. If there's anyone like Marvel related, it would be Hugh Jackman. That would be the equivalent. And if you've seen the pictures of Michael Keaton on set of The Flash, he looks great. He looks so good as like an older Bruce Wayne. I'm so looking forward to that.
Distinguished, yeah, he looks fantastic. That's and they do like to, those guys do like to play those games. Oh, you wanna do that? I'll raise you a Hugh Jackman bomb. You know, you guys want to play those kind of games. I hear that movie's going to be crazy too. So
I think they're very similar, aren't they? The Flash and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness are kind of, in a way, the same movie for Marvel and DC. It's like the movies that are really going to, like, basically just confirm that there's a multiverse in both universes. We're already seeing hints towards that in Loki. I think Loki might be a bit different. I don't think it's the multiverse. I just think it's like a weird kind of end of time type thing they've come up with what's he called again? The kind of entity, the smoke monster thing.
Eliath.
Yeah, the end, like eating everyone.
He's just the guard. He's just the guard dog. But we got to see who's in the house over there. Spoiler alert.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think that this is a different thing. They're pulling Lokis from and other characters from different universes. So
you do think it's a multiverse thing?
It has to be related. Yeah, I mean, it is a multiverse. If there's 10 Lokis in one episode, that's a multiverse.
Okay, answer me one question.
Sure.
Do you think Alligator Loki is a Loki, or do you think he's actually pretending to be a Loki?
I think it's a Loki.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. Right, who else do we have in the chat? We'll talk about that in a sec. I just want to just put Jackman on roids. He'll probably be good to go. He's probably more interested in a new role more than anything. Maybe. I really do think the Deadpool 3 idea now, that's all I'm thinking. I'd like to see Hugh as Old Man Logan, says JLS Comics. Now, we've already kind of seen him as Old Man Logan. It was like a version of that. It wasn't quite there. But yes, I would like to eventually you could do that. And I think he would come back to do that. But then again, in his head, he's probably thinking, well, I've already done it. But it's a bit different. Let's have oh yeah, and Leroy Kong says it was Terrence Howard originally that played Rhodey, James Rhodes, and then he was replaced in Iron Man 2. I think he was replaced. Here we go. And Reese 75 says, I mean, if they do bring Hugh back, it might be because Spider-Man No Way Home will be disappointing. Now, I've heard a lot of people say this. People seem to be really down on this movie, on Spider-Man No Way From Home. No Way Home. Mixing up all the titles there.
That's the Spider-Man in East LA is No Way Homes.
No Way Home.
No, dude, people are down on everything. People are super negative. I'm sick of it. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's probably going to suck. I'm like, why don't you just go shut up and go to the stupid movie, and then you can bitch about it, but you're like complaining before. Of course. Like, yeah, I'm going to have intercourse. It's probably going to suck, but, I guess I'll do it anyway. Like, I'm going to eat this cheeseburger. It's probably going to be terrible, but it's going to suck anyway. Shut up. Okay? Shut up. I'm super sick of people. People are so negative. Like, I know Clint likes everything. Yeah, maybe so. But come on. Like, Jesus Christ. Of course it's going to be good. You could be cleaning a toilet, or you could be watching No Way Home. It's going to be awesome. Like, give me a break. I'm sick of it. All right, I'm done.
No, but tell you what, that's the perfect segue onto what I wanted to talk about next. People shitting on stuff. Stephen Dorff. He shot all over Black Widow, and I don't think he's even seen it. But so he did this weird interview with The Independent, which, first off, why is The Independent talking to Stephen Dorff? The guy hasn't done anything in years. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he was the bad guy in Blade. In the original Blade, he played the villain in that movie. That's literally all he's really done of note, let's be honest here. But for some reason, they asked him about Black Widow, and he said, I still hunt out the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow. Okay. Yeah. It looks like garbage to me. It looks like a bad video game. I'm embarrassed for those people. I'm embarrassed for Scarlett. I'm sure she got paid $5-7 million, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't want to be in those movies. I really don't. I find that kid director that's going to be the next Kubrick, and I'll act for him instead.
because he's the only one hiring you. Look, dude, this guy, it sounds, and I talked to one of my best friends about it, and we're laughing about it. Well, it's like, it kind of sounds like he got drunk and his filter was gone. You know what I mean? And like, because seriously, who's going to say those things? Like, what the hell is your problem? And I can tell you, man, like, haters are the ones that do that. The people, like, he probably feels like he should be further along in his career than he is. Now he's doing like artsier stuff. It like, give me a freaking break, dude. Like,
I need to look at what he's actually done.
Right now,
he was in True Detective, was he?
Yeah, he was. He was, and he's working on some show. I think a show or movie. I don't even know, where he's a fighter. It's supposed to be good. Yeah. He's probably real impressed with himself for being in great shape and all that at his age. But like, the thing about it is, who doesn't have who doesn't have time to talk smack about what other people are doing? The people that are doing stuff, like
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson's worth $100+ million and doesn't have time to worry. Like, you think she stops to worry about what Stephen Dorff is doing? She doesn't care about that guy. She's doing hers. And I remember a time when I was a young man, and I was on Columbia Records, and I was worried about what all these other bands were doing, and like, we didn't get offered some tours, and there was some different things that I was starting to get kind of bitter. And this manager told me, he's like, dude, you need to do your business and don't worry about these other people. You worry about yourself. You think those people are worried about you, and it's not. It's the people that are a little bit jaded about something, have a chip on their shoulder, that actually spend the time. He's having to explain why he's not an A-list, why he's a B+ actor. Yeah, if that, you know what I mean?
I'm looking at what he's done. Like, he's not even B+. He's like C-list. Really, let's be honest, people.
Yeah, the only people that have time to worry about what A-listers are doing are people that aren't getting calls to do anything that they can brag about. That's it. Yeah. Nobody knows who that guy is. A lot of people know who Stephen Dorff is. Like, and he's a solid actor. But I think he's a little bit jealous of the people that are getting red carpet status and stuff, because he wouldn't be talking like that if he wasn't. That's the bottom line. Like, you think Chris Helmsworth has time to worry about anything like that? You think Chris Pratt's worried about that? You think Robert Downey Jr.'s got time to talk smack? Nobody gives a shit about what that guy's doing, and it bothers him. And so he has to vent about it, because he probably had a whiskey too many. Okay, I'm done with my rant. But yeah,
but you're completely right. Like, the last thing of any note that he's really done was in 2010, where he was in Somewhere, which was the film that who directed that? Was Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, I think, Sophia Coppola, the director of that. And apparently he was very good in that. Now, I haven't seen it. I find her movies very dull, so I don't tend to watch them. But apparently he was very good in that. Apparently he was also people are saying he was very good in True Detective. Fine. True Detective season 3, I didn't even know it was happening, and I was a massive fan of True Detective season 1. I thought season 2 was a bit meh, so I kind of stopped watching.
But I knew what it's like to be in a little bit of spotlight, and then all of a sudden you run into people, and they're like, "Hey, Clint, you're not on tour. You're not doing this." Yeah. I got tired of being on the road. I'm embarrassed for all those people having to be on the road all the time. I'm embarrassed for I didn't say that, but you know what I mean. There's like, you start having to make excuses, and when people bring up other things that get under your skin, apparently it can sometimes come out, and that's what happened with him.
It's such a weird thing to do. Like, first off, I know what kind of interview this must have been. It would have been a phone interview. It wouldn't have been face to face. So you're probably right. He probably did have one too many. It probably was a bit late for him. I don't know. But saying, I'm embarrassed for those people, I'm embarrassed for Scarlett, it's clear that he hasn't even seen the film, because he's like, I still hunt out the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow. It looks like garbage to me. It looks like a bad video game. I mean,
it could be like an attack on his ego too. If you think about it, it's like like somebody's supposed to call you and start talking to you about what you're doing, and you're excited to talk. Yeah, I'm going to talk. I'm going to explain what my project and this and that. I'm really worked hard for this movie. I cut down. I lost 30 pounds. I'm in the best shape of my life. This and that. I really got into the role. And then somebody's like, "Hey, so what do you think about the new Scarlett Johansson movie?" You're like, F that, dude. And it's like almost insulting. It's probably something like that, where it's like you called here to talk to me, and you're asking me about. I don't care about that crap. I'm being a method actor. I haven't eaten a donut in 6 months and whatever, you know what I mean? And some reporter is going to be like, "Oh, so what do you think about Spider-Man?" It's like, fuck Spider-Man, I'm sorry to curse on the show, but no, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what happened. And I think it hit a nerve and hit his ego. And he was like, a self-defense mechanism as to why he's not having to explain why Ethan Hawke got called for Moon Knight and he didn't. You know what I mean? Like,
it sounds to me like he might have actually auditioned for something Marvel related and he didn't get it. That probably was the role, the Ethan Hawke role.
I mean, who knows?
I bet you something like that. Like, he hates Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. That's why half of us know who he is because he was in Blade. You know what I mean? Like,
that's literally the only reason I know who he is because he was in Blade.
It might also be that might be another part of it. Like, he also might have gotten most of his recognition for that Blade role that he's not proud of, and maybe worked really hard on a bunch of other things, and that just never hit. You know what I mean? The True Detective, that everybody knows that show, but I mean, like, other than that, you just said it. And I said that my buddy who's I was talking to about it, he's a big movie guy. He's like, "Dude, he was in this and this and this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but nobody knows those movies. Like, my buddy knows them, but it's like, he was in
the Iceman, which was that film was really about Michael Shannon. Like, he was great in that movie. I'm looking at the stuff he's done, and it's a lot of independent stuff. Some really bad horror movies, really bad. He was in Immortals, for crying out loud, which is terrible, but it kind of kickstarted Henry Cavill's career.
So what do you do when you're in a spot like he was elevated? He was a fresh new face in Hollywood. He looks like if what did we decide? Oh crap, I can't remember who the other one was. We said if Christian Slater and was it Ethan Hawke had a baby? I don't know. Remember?
No, I know who he looks like. He looks like the guy that one of the actors.
It was Christian Slater and Kiefer Sutherland. If they had a kid, it would be Stephen Dorff. Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah. I think he looks a lot like Peter Sarsgaard, who is a very good actor, by the way. Peter Sarsgaard's in the Batman. He's currently filming or finished filming the Batman. They look very similar. I think Stephen Dorff just looks like he's perfect for like a cop. That's kind of his look. I don't know. I think and if you look at what he's done, it's a lot of that kind of stuff. It's like, it doesn't surprise me he was in True Detective.
Well, back when he was in the spotlight, fresh new face, and all that, and shining, he was in a Marvel movie, and then after that, he's kind of like faded down into just consistent. And what do you say? Like, "Oh yeah, I don't do those big movies. I prefer to do artsy films. I'm in it for the art." That's what somebody says when they're not getting the big roles. And it's cool, man. Like, just don't be a dick. Like, do your thing. He's getting work. He's still working. He's doing great. He's done a lot more than I have in that. Yeah. So I mean, like good for him. Just dude, lay off the whiskey and don't talk smack about other actors, because they're just doing their thing too.
It's like naming them as well. And I just I just imagining him going, "Yeah, I still hunt out the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow. Looks like garbage to me. Looks like a bad video game. I'm embarrassed for those people." It's like, oh my god! Like, if I was on the other end of the phone doing the interview, I'd have been like, "Oh my god, this is gold. This is incredible."
I remember, dude. I knew a guy that one time, like, I back, not to bring everything to myself and my own stories, but like back years ago, and I had a song that was a pop song that was on the radio that I sang, and this other guy that I knew was like, yeah, I could write a song like that, but I'd rather play I don't like to sell out. I like to play the artsy stuff. I play complicated. We're not going in there, Edward. but I'm just saying, like, this guy said that, and that was his way of is a defense mechanism, because he felt insecure because I had a song that was getting played on the radio and he didn't, and that just sounds like the same thing with what's going on with this guy. So it's a self-defense mechanism. It just means that he feels a little insecure and maybe slighted that the when he was probably at the peak of his career, he was in a Marvel movie and nothing else has been recognized as much since then. And you know what? I wish him the best, and I hope that he actually something that he's doing now blows up and does great. I hope he does great, because he's a good actor, and I'm sure he means well. It just means he's, anybody talks smack like that verbally, there's something going on. Then
and it's a shame for him, because it's really not helping his career.
No, not at all.
It's a stupid thing to do. It really is a stupid thing to do. And it riled Marvel fans up completely the wrong way. And it's like they were really pissed off with him. And you know what? Rightly so. It was a stupid thing to say in an interview with the journalist on the record. It was just dumb. Like, yeah, fine, say that to your friends or whatever, and be bitter about that. But honestly, you're right that people spend way too much time being bitter about things, and it's not like, his career hasn't gone probably to plan really for him. Like, he has done some interesting stuff over the years, but it's a lot of, most of it is a lot of straight to video, let's be honest, stuff. And that can be upsetting, but also it doesn't mean you have to lash out to people that are in the big movie, doing like the Black Widow films. Also, of all the comic book films you could really lash out on, it looks bad lashing out on the first, like, Marvel's first female-led, like, it says their second female-led comic book movie, like, after Captain Marvel. And it was a big deal. It was a long time coming for Scarlett Johansson. She's been playing this character for years. And you know what? I think you should just be happy that she got the role. And I think it's important. I think it looks really cool as well. I know a lot of people have been complaining about Taskmaster in the movie. But I mean, I haven't seen the film yet. I've seen it. I'm hopefully going to see it tomorrow. No spoilers. Hashtag no spoilers. Come on, guys.
No spoilers. I will give no spoilers.
And Reese75 agrees with me. Says Stephen Dorff looks like Peter Sarsgaard in Harvey Specter cosplay. That's very, very good. And and as Dan, I think Dan puts it correctly. Oh bless, Stephen. Oh bless. Yes. Go and have an ice cream or something. Don't be so bitter. Right, should we move away from that and onto some? Well, we'll talk a bit about DC. Let's talk about Zack Snyder. So it's been revealed that he's making a film called Rebel Moon for Netflix, which apparently was his original Star Wars spin-off idea, which sounds really, really cool to me. So there were some rumors that he had been, so this was before I think Disney bought a Lucasfilm, that he had been approached, or not, he had done a pitch for a Star Wars movie, and then he kind of pitched it again, I think, to Disney, but I think they immediately said no, because it sounds like it's going to be quite dark. It sounds like it's going to be a very dark movie. And he said, this is me growing up as an Akira Kurosawa fan, a Star Wars fan, and a Star Wars fan. It's my love of sci-fi, a giant adventure. My hope is that this also becomes a massive IP and a universe that can be built out. What do you think of this?
I think it's awesome, especially with the epic scale and just feel of Snyder's stuff. It's just like, you could make a everything that he's done has had like the little bit of that Gladiator feel to it. You know what I mean? A little bit of 300, a little bit of the Wonder Woman even has a tinge of that, and it's just, everything is really huge looking. But throwing that into a sci-fi world will be cool. Like, it'll be super awesome to make something look that big and epic. And I think too, It's going to be great because every single Star Wars person is going to want to go see that to see what Star Wars screwed up and passed on. They're like, you know what I mean? Every single it's going to be a huge success. Even if it sucks, people are going to go see it because they're going to want to know, what did Kathleen Kennedy screw up and pass on? If they passed on it, it must be great. Like, all of those people are going to go watch this. And so they can't go wrong.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be interesting seeing, like, because he was kind of saying that it was very dark and a more mature, more kind of adult take on Star Wars. So it's no wonder that Disney passed on it, because that's not what they want. They that's not their prerogative. They want family friendly movies. They do not want a Zack Snyder Star Wars film. You know, there is a massive appetite for that sort of stuff. And what's actually interesting, I think this whole Netflix Zack Snyder kind of thing that's going on right now is really fascinating, because Army of the Dead was actually the Warner Brothers passed on that to begin with. That was he originally pitched that to Warner Brothers, and they said nah. And then the executive, that I can't remember his name, that Snyder is very close with at Netflix, said, like, oh, what was that again? Army of the Dead? Yeah, go for it. And they've obviously said the same thing here with Rebel Moon. First off, I think Rebel Moon's a really good name. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it sounds really cool. And yeah, Zack Snyder at his best when he's obviously, the guy is very, very aware of the importance of franchising, like, and the not really the importance is the wrong word. The kind of the positive aspect of it. It's like he has seen this as a massive IP. And he thinks he can really build this out and create a massive universe. Of course, Netflix is going to be like, we're interested in this because this could be huge. Already, Army of the Dead is their biggest movie ever, I think. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be making a sequel to that. They're making a prequel anime series, which is coming out pretty soon. And
Speaking, not to interrupt you, but to interrupt you, the Tomorrow War got picked up for a second. I
know it did.
Speaking of huge, amazing streaming movies, go continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I couldn't believe. I could believe that, but when I saw that, I was like, all right, must have done all right then. On Amazon Prime. It's actually, I think, the only new thing on Amazon Prime for quite some time as well. So
did you see it?
Not yet.
Man,
you know what I watched today? I watched the Resident Evil anime TV show on Netflix, which is terrible. Now, maybe that's just me being annoyed about stuff, but I love Resident Evil, and I thought this was bad because it literally just looked like a bunch of video game cutscenes. All rolled into a film. Like, it was weird. The way they did it was weird. Like, because Netflix anime is good. Like, it's one of the things they do really well. Like, the Castlevania stuff is brilliant, and some of the anime shows on there that they did themselves are really good. Like the episodes of, what was the David Fincher thing called again? Love, Death, and Robots. Some episodes of that are anime. Some of them are fantastic, and this was I thought that was disappointing for me. But I'm really looking forward to this Zack Snyder one, because it's kind of a prequel set in the Army of the Dead universe. Now I see I see this whole Zack Snyder and Netflix thing going on for actually years. I think they're just going to work together for as long as they can. To be honest, he seems to really like working with them. What were you going to ask me, Clint?
I was going to say, do you think that this is going to be just like a bizarro Star Wars, like a, you know, it's like Spaceballs? They're like almost the same, but not quite. Or like stormtroopers are, instead of white with black in between the cracks, they're gonna have black with white in the cracks. Like, you know, like it, like
I think the stormtroopers are just gonna be massive dudes in like skimpy outfits with just the helmet.
Oh man, oh boy, like I'm just wondering. It's like, hey, let's just make a blatant ripoff of Star Wars, and we'll call everyone a different character, and then we'll just laugh in their faces. We'll just have our lawyers let us know what is different enough to not get sued, and then we'll just laugh.
Bolo.
And then we'll just make this amazing movie, and then laugh at Disney for not picking up my idea. That's what it's like.
His name is Tambolo, and he's a space pirate, not a cowboy. It's like they'll already go for. Kazakh seems to be annoyed with me. Why are you being bitter about the Resident Evil movie? It's not a movie; it's a series. It's like a 4-part series. It's just not very good. I was really looking forward to it, and I watched it today, and I was a bit like, It's just not that great. Official Film Milam says the Tomorrow War will be getting a sequel. Yes, it will. Leroy Kong liked the Tomorrow War. No,
I liked it. I liked it too. After I got back from doing the show last week, I went and finished watching it, and it ended great. I was like, okay, that's why the pacing was weird, where we were in the film, I enjoyed the movie. It was cool. It
Put that on the poster. Clint enjoyed the movie. It was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was cool.
I mean, it's like a lot of those shows that are go to streaming. It didn't change history. It didn't like break any new ground or anything, but it was solid. It was entertainment. Yeah. I mean, good for one of those boring nights with your girlfriend or wife or whatever. You're just chilling. Hey, let's watch it. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't bad. Better than watching some other crap. Anyway, go ahead.
Danzig says Rebel Moon sounds good. Hoping his frequent collaborator, cinematographer Larry Fong, joins the pick. Loved his work in the Tomorrow War. I think the one thing about Zack is I know that he changed his cinematographer, didn't he? He changed it on Justice League. He had I can't remember his name now. The cinematographer was different on that, so we'll have to wait and see. His movies all look great though; they all look brilliant.
Army of the Dead, he did his own camera work.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. And it was really good actually. That's one of the
it was really good.
His films. I'm not a massive fan of all of his movies. I think I think some of them are actually really bad. But I think
you're talking about the DC stuff.
Actually, I'm talking about Sucker Punch. I think Sucker Punch is bad. I think it is bad, but also maybe I need to watch it again because apparently I got the wrong end of the stick when I first watched it, according to Zack Snyder. Anyway, he said, "Guys, you didn't understand it, man. It wasn't like the movie that he thought it was, man." So okay, fine, I'll go and watch it again. He wants to do a director's cut as well. He says that exists of that movie, but I just think Zack is when he's in his element, he can be incredible. I think 300 is a fucking amazing movie, and I also think Watchmen is probably one of the best comic book movies ever made. In the sense that the Watchmen comic book, which you can actually see right behind me there, was for so many years considered to be unfilmable. And then Zack came out and just did it, and he literally did it page for page, and then made the ending better because the ending in the comic book is not good. That's one of the big disappointments about that comic book. But I think this is something that he's been thinking about for so many years, and to me that is really exciting because I think he's probably planned it all out in his head already.
Oh yeah.
And if the first film ends up being a hit, which I'm pretty sure it will, given like how popular his movies have been and how popular Army of the Dead was, even though I don't think Army of the Dead is that good. I think it's nowhere near as good as his Justice League, for instance, which I think is one of his best movies ever. I think this movie has the potential to really, really be something special and be Netflix's first genuinely good action film. Like, I still think they're lacking like a really good action movie, even though I liked Extraction. I think Netflix's action films have tended to be a bit poor. I think the idea sounds good. It's a really good elevator pitch. It's like a dark kind of Star Wars film, more mature, more grown up, more adult. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. I really, really hope that it ends up being as good as I want it to be.
That's kind of like it's kind of like there's a Red Notice movie that's going on Netflix with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but I don't have high hopes for it.
I was thinking about I saw that and I was thinking about it though. I was daydreaming and like I do, and I was thinking about it and I feel like I'm like there's been a few movies that have like big stars and they're just okay, and it made me think, is this become acceptable to where it's like actors say, hey, Netflix has got deep pockets. They will give us a bunch of money. I'll just take the money, do the thing, and do the movie. It'll end up on Netflix. It'll be okay. And it won't matter because that's what everyone has come to expect from Netflix movies. Yeah. They're like, hey, it's cool. It's my day off. I'm sleeping in. I'll just put this movie on. It's got Chris Helmsworth in it. And then you're done. And you're like, it's okay. Well, you know what? We're not going to hold it against Chris. It was a Netflix movie. He just did them a favor. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what everybody does. Is they think, yeah, it's okay. So,
I think this is a bit different. I think this is a bit different because it's like a Zack Snyder idea that he's been.
I'm talking about the Rock.
Gal
Gadot. I think that's gonna, not to go off the rails on.
But I also think you're completely right, and I think this is a massive problem actually with Netflix films because you look like Ryan Reynolds has done it already with is it 8 Underground or whatever that. I thought that film was awful. Like I watched it and I was like, this is a 1 out of 10 movie. Like
I never saw it.
I mean, I know I'm very down on a lot of films, but I really did really hate that film. Like I just thought it was awful. But the film, you've got Ryan Reynolds in it, you've got a bunch of really good actors in it, and it's directed by one of the what's his name again? I'm forgetting his name. In the comments, people will know. The Transformers guy. Literally, like I can't remember his name. Michael Bay.
Oh, jeez.
It's Michael Bay, and I dislike his movies so much that I've just eradicated his name.
You've blocked him.
Yeah, and it's like I remember the beginning of that film is a car chase sequence with Dave Franco, who's who's actually the best thing of the movie, and he dies in the first 5 minutes. Oh, and that chase sequence was billed as being like Netflix's big budget like scene, and they were going on about how much money they spent on it and how many cameras I had to lock down Rome to do this thing. And I was like, and then I was watching it, and there's a scene in it, there's a moment in it where Dave Franco, who's the driver, does this like handbrake turn, and the wing mirror comes off. And they make a big deal of the wing mirror coming off. They do like a close up shot of that, and then the next sequence, the bloody wing mirror's back. And I was watching. I was like, did anyone notice this when making the movie, or did they just go, no one will notice? It doesn't matter. I was like, this is just
that's funny.
Like that's the dumbest thing. Like. I noticed it, and I only watched that movie once. Normally, that sort of stuff, you don't notice it the first time, but when you notice it, then it's bad. That sort of continuation error is bad. The film made no sense. It's crap. Anyone that says it's good, I'm sorry, but you need to go and have your head checked because it's not a good movie. Like, just not even. It's objectively just a poor film. That's not even me being. But this is anyway. That's me shitting all over.
You should put that on the poster. Put that on it. It's a poor film.
It's just poor. It's just anyone that likes this movie needs to get their head checked.
It's a poor film. Edward Lauder.
But small screen. But this is what I'm saying. Like a lot of these films that end up on Netflix, like The Old Guard, we've got Charlize Theron like leading up this action film that's directed by a woman, and I was like, it's based on a comic book that I really like the comic book, and I watched. I was bored the whole time. I was bored the whole time watching that movie because I just thought it was just meh.
Yeah,
and then
I loved it. I loved it. Look, I didn't love the movie though.
6 Underground. It's called 6 Underground, not 8 Underground.
I like The Old Guard. I really love the concept, and I thought it could have been really cool, and it just never took you there. Like the same thing happened when I saw that movie that Donnie Wahlberg that's on Paramount Plus right now about it's Infinite. Is that what it's called?
Probably, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it just came out, and it like same thing. It's like, oh, this could be really cool for the same reasons, and it just never gets there. It's just like kind of meh,
and there's a lot of that. There's like Netflix, actually, all their action films like Bright. I'm sorry, but anyone that likes Bright, man, the guy like if you reference Shrek in a movie where there are like most of the characters in the film are ogres, then no, you're an idiot. Like, sorry, no, that's a bad film. There's a reason why there isn't the sequel was announced and then they just never did it. First of the writer's a bit of a nutcase as well, isn't he? He's a horrible person. But then it's just like you look at like the films they've released, especially action films they've released. I don't think there's one good one like that Netflix has done. Like like universally loved. Like, I think Extraction was the closest they ever got.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Like they've got Red Notice coming out, which to me just looks like another 6 Underground. Like it's like Ryan Reynolds wants to do a film with Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and then Gal Gadot comes into it, and then they're like, "Where can we make this movie?" Well, Netflix will pay us.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like an alarm goes off or so. It's red. I was wanting to say red alert, but it's red notice.
It is red notice. Yeah.
And
red alert's
yeah,
a better title.
Red alert. Yeah, and red notice reminds me of burn notice. That's how I remembered that. But yeah, some international criminals, some notice goes off where they're gonna go hunt these people down. They're wanted, and The Rock is the guy that's gonna find them. And I'm like, okay, that sounds about right. I don't know.
Maybe that's enough shitting over Netflix films.
Yeah, we got a good like 10 minutes of we just dwarfed all over Steven dwarfed all over Netflix
but the problem with Netflix is that they should be better. The film should be better. They've got so many good people involved in them, but it does literally at the moment it does look like the kind of place where actors go because they know they can get a fast paycheck. Like and it is worrying because like I love the action movie genre so much. Like some of my very favorite films, most of them are either horror films or action movies, and I think like the John Wick films are so good. Like recently, like John Wick Chapter 3 was brilliant. I thought Nobody was incredible. Netflix aren't making these films, and really they should make those sorts of movies. Like they're the films that would do really well, and I just. Dries says I just Amber Heard it all over Netflix. Yeah, it just annoys me because I mean you look at what they're doing with their shows. Even if there are some misses, there are some brilliant shows like that they make. They should do the same thing with their movies. I just don't get why they don't.
They've been making an effort to hire new talent as far as filmmakers go, or like good talent, not new talent, but good, like Snyder and Knives Out guy Ryan Johnson, and people that know how to make good films. Which some people argue those statements too, but like certain certain fan bases would argue those statements, but they are making the effort to do that. So, and it's still early on, since we've been talking about, man, they're like the streaming wars, Netflix spending all this money. I guess we're gonna find out in the next 6 months what they've been spending their money on. So that's exciting to know that there's a possibility that these could be cool. Like, man, let's be optimistic. Let's not dwarf all over everything. Let's you know what I
watched the other day that I thought was really good, like better than I thought it was going to be.
What's that?
Was Cruella. I thought Cruella was actually really, really good. I ended up the only gripe I had with it with the dogs. that was literally it. The CGI dogs look bad, but that, I thought it was brilliant.
You should have gone to my the Clint Baker channel and seen my review. I could have told you that.
I did see your review, and that's one of the reasons, because we were like, my wife and I were like, what should we watch? And she loves like Cruella de Vil. She thinks she's brilliant, and one of her favorite characters. She's like, she doesn't like Emma Stone, but I tell you what, she liked Emma Stone as Cruella, and I just like, it was great. It was fantastic.
That's a perfect like movie night movie for because guys all like Emma Stone, and then they're like, but then they're like, man, I think my wife's gonna make me watch Cruella, and I'm like, dude, it's pretty good. You're gonna like it. Really? Good. I was like, trust me, dude. If like of all the movies you could get stuck watching, this is a good one. Okay, cool. And they're like, dude, you were right, man. Like, yeah, I told you. Sometimes you get tricked, and it's like you gotta watch like Reese Witherspoon dating Chris Pine and Tom Hardy. You know what I mean? You're like,
this means war.
You're like, this seemed like it could be cool. They're like CIA guys, but and they're like, yeah, dude, you got tricked. She just wants to stare at Chris Pine and Tom Hardy, and you got swindled into a romantic comedy. This is the opposite version of that. It's like it's like, hey, it'd be all right, dude. Just watch Cruella. It's good.
Raj has figured me out. Ed went from shitting over Netflix to gassing up a live-action Disney remake. Lost his credibility. First off, Cruella's not a remake. Okay, there hasn't been another Cruella And secondly, come on, guys, if you really watch Netflix for action movies and think they're good, then you're okay. Let's just agree to disagree.
Yeah,
leave it at that.
And for those who want to say that the movie was an injustice to the evil Cruella from later times, relax, because she still has people in her life that love her, and so she's still good. By the time she gets to old bitter Cruella, she's probably lost it all. So we'll have to see what happens in the sequel, which got greenlit also. Greenlit. Yes,
it did. CGI animals never look right. Can they just use real animals like they used to? Well, I think you're right. CGI animals never look right. Apart the Lion King, they look weirdly kind of too good. I think I think that was one of the issues that people had. But yeah, I think using real animals is just way too hard and way too expensive, and also quite dangerous.
Especially Jurassic Park. Like they do that. They tried it in Jurassic Park. It didn't work.
It ate up the crew. Right. Let's talk about some movies that we really do like. Right. And one guy that made a lot of those movies was a director called Richard Donner, who very sadly passed away this week. I wanted to do a bit of a celebration of Richard Donner and go over some of. I know my favorite Richard Donner movies of all time. I'm probably going to surprise you with the answer. It's probably not the one you think, but when you think of Richard Donner, Clint, what do you think of? What's your Richard Donner thing?
For me, my earliest moments, like falling in love with movies, are two things. One has nothing to do with him. That's Star Wars. The other is Superman. Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yes.
1978 Superman. The first Superman. I've probably seen that one at least, no joke, 100 times. And same with Superman 2. Also with the I've seen both of those maybe 200 times a piece. I've seen them so many times. Used to watch them every single day. Worn out countless VHS tapes with those movies. Dating myself, but yeah, they don't get better than that. And that really is the superhero movie that paved the way for everything. And I mean, it really is. I watched a little bit of Superman 1 a few months back when I was home, and I was like, wow, this is still awesome. Yeah, it looks cheesy compared to some of the CGI, but that's just the times we were in. But at the time, it was groundbreaking. The flight, to see somebody flying through the air and doing all that, it's just like Star Wars. Star Wars, it was the same way. It was like new effects nobody had ever seen before, and Superman did that. And not only that, but it was a great story. It was told well. The actors were everybody was likable in the movie and perfectly cast, and it was just a home run. And as a child, I don't know, it's like just that set the tone for me loving superhero movies basically for the rest of my life. There's other stuff. Lethal Weapon 2 is a great movie. Goonies was fantastic. You know what I mean? And then you fast forward to later times, and he was responsible for X-Men, involved in X-Men. When those X-Men movies came out, it was another game changer again. You know what I mean? And man, it made me. I remember how excited I was when the first X-Men came out, and I went to the theater. I was like first in line and sat down. Probably, I think I was at the third row and seeing those movies. So I mean, from something I was going to say before when I was talking about Hugh Jackman talking about, he wouldn't be trying to prop himself up if he's going to do a tribute to Richard Donner. He did release it, I think it was a tweet, but it was basically saying, hey, this guy was a really great guy, and thank you for changing the industry and all that. And I'm paraphrasing, but my heart goes out to his wife, and also that he was how how he saved hundreds and hundreds of dogs. The guy would rescue dogs and stuff. And I think that's the kind of response I would expect of Hugh Jackman to do, and that's appropriate, because who cares about the movies if the guy's a great guy? And anybody who rescues hundreds of dogs and uses their, makes a little money making movies and uses that to rescue dogs. I love dogs. I can't think that tells me, like, I'm sure in other walks of life he was great too. I never met the man. I don't know him, but I could tell you, just looking from the outside in, anybody who rescues hundreds of dogs has got a good, kind heart and left a big mark on this world, and people are going to remember him forever because his movies are timeless. So, so what he's done will be remembered, and I'm sure all of his loved ones will continue to remember him forever and ever. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's a great tribute to Richard Donner. Now, my favorite Richard Donner movie is Lady Hawk.
I've actually never seen Lady Hawk.
I'm a massive Matthew Broderick fan. Like one of like, to be honest, all my favorite movies, I think, like in the top 10, them at least 75% of them have Matthew Broderick in, but not really. But no, I love Lady Hawk, and for me, the film that really the films that I watched as a kid on hard rotation growing up with the Lethal Weapon movies. For me, being an action movie fan, Lethal Weapon was just like, it was the first Lethal Weapon was the film that opened my eyes up to the action movie genre. And there's so much great stuff in that first film, and then it kind of carried on into the second one as well. The third one was pretty, I thought it was pretty decent. Like the first one had that incredible score by Eric Clapton as well, and the music was just incredible. It was and then the Goonies was something that, like, the other thing about Richard Donner that a lot of people don't really talk about is, well, maybe they do, but is the fact that he was able to kind of master so many different genres. So he kind of in a way created the comic book movie genre with Superman and the Superman 2. And then went on to kind of do the coming of age movie with the Goonies, and then like reinvented the action movie genre, with this weird like Lethal Weapon film that was I think was it written by Shane Black?
I don't know.
I think it probably was, and it featured like, that was like the film to me that like opened me up to like buddy cop movies as well that I adore, and then he did this weird film Lady Hawk in the middle of it the same year. Made Lady Hawk and the Goonies, and then even towards the end of his career, like his last film was in 2006 and was 16 blocks. That wasn't brilliant, but he was still he was still gonna direct Lethal Weapon 5. Like that was something that was on the cards for him, and he also
in his 90s. He was 90, 91, I think.
He was 91, and he was still going to do that. And then there was also The Omen, in which is like an incredible horror movie. 1976, The Omen is just a brilliant horror movie. And then if you look at his, and he was the producer of the X-Men movies. He also did a lot in TV, so he did like the Twilight Zone episodes of that. He did the episodes of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He's just basically done everything you can possibly do in Hollywood, and he's done it to an incredible like proper quality. It's just everything he's done is just proper quality, and I really don't think the MCU like wouldn't really be where it is today. I don't think it would exist if it wasn't for him, because he was the man that gave Kevin Feige his first gig on the X-Men movies. So he was a very big deal. And it sounds like he was also a lovely man. And again, I'm the same. If anyone saves a lot of dogs, I love dogs too. I unfortunately don't own one anymore. My dog passed away a couple of years back.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, it happens when you have one from when you're young. But also, I live in a very small apartment in Paris, so you can't have a dog here. But it was such a big loss, and it was I think just you felt like an outpouring of love for Richard Donner from not just people in the industry, but also people that have watched his movies, growing up watching his films. So yes, rest in peace, Richard Donner. And to all those people that are wondering what's happening with not Mission Impossible, Lethal Weapon 5, well, will it happen without him? Probably not. They probably won't do it. And you know what? If there's no Richard Donner involved, then they probably shouldn't make the movie.
And I always say too, they say there's two deaths. The first time is when you physically die, but the second time is the last time you say somebody's name.
Yes.
You know, so they're still saying Alexander the Great's name. He's going to be around for a long time. I think Richard Donner's name is going to be around for a long time.
Definitely,
so yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Definitely. I think he's one of the best directors to have ever lived, and as I said before, he mastered so many different genres and so many different mediums in pop culture as well. I think the only thing he didn't really do was video games. Everything else, he was also involved in comic books as well and stuff like that. So it's a sad loss, but he was 91, so he had quite a good run. 91 years, it's not bad, and his movies will live on forever. Now, shall we finish off the episode by talking about two TV shows that are currently streaming on Disney Plus? Let's talk about, first off, let's talk about Loki episode 5. What did you think about it?
Loki, I loved it. Are you kidding me? I loved it. And also, I have a gripe again with people. I think people are really starting to get under my skin. And even YouTube people, there's a lot of people that I hear started talking about this episode. This episode was absolutely fantastic. And we're not doing spoilers here, right?
No.
Okay, no spoilers, but I can't even get into this without spoilers.
Oh, go on, let's do spoilers, because I think everyone's seen it now. So
everybody's seen it. If you haven't seen it, you're sleeping on the job.
Yeah, go on.
I just want to say, like, it was fantastic. So many Easter eggs in this episode. It's so Easter eggs everywhere. Like, seeing Mjolnir in the rubble, and seeing Throg was in it. And there was Thanos copter. There was all these things. Everybody's just going crazy about all of the Easter eggs. And it was a lot of fun. It was just a fun episode. There was a lot of fun. I heard some people were like, yeah, nothing really happened. I'm like, what do you people want? I was like, you people that are complaining need to not watch it episodically. You need to stop and just wait till it's over and watch it all the way through. Because if you think about it, 2 minutes, not even 30 seconds before this episode, you had Loki get killed. You had Wilson get killed. What's his name? Owen Wilson. Mobius. Yeah, he gets killed, and you get the head chopped off of the timekeeper, and then it goes right into like hilarious stuff going on. You get a whole new villainous monster thing. You've got running around in a car. You got all this crazy stuff, and then you have it's pretty much go to get the Wicked Witch's broom so that they could go back and to Oz. It's basically they got the last thing they have to conquer before the end of the thing, and for the end of the show, and then there was a few people out there that were like, yeah, I feel like nothing really happened. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? There's so much fan service, just fun stuff to pick out of this thing. Then, not to mention, just everything you got, and a love story tied in. And then just for the Ride of the Valkyries tribute alone, anybody didn't see that part, the Richard E. Grant,
that was incredible.
I nearly ripped the arms off of. It was like when I saw the hallway scene with Darth Vader on in Rogue One. All of a sudden, bum 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 bum. I was like, yes! I like it. It was the Han Solo coming back to save the rest of the guys in Star Wars. That's what it was. Okay, kids, you're all clear. Like, it was like all of a sudden. And do I have any theories about this? Do you think he's really dead?
Wait, who?
I just went off.
Who do you think who's really dead?
Old man Loki. Do you think he's really dead?
Yeah.
Do you? I wonder if he's really actually dead, because he was just bragging about how he did a.
You think he did another thing like he?
Yeah, he was like, I did a projection so grand I was able to fool the Mad Titan himself.
I did a projection so grand it was able to fool the Mad Titan himself. I need to bring this up. We also had the Thanos copter.
Yes.
In the episode, so you see Richard E. Grant there with and Thanos copter in the background. So a lot of people loved that as well. That little reference, I really like that.
You get another historical with the USS. Is it Eldridge? the USS Eldridge,
Yes.
that gets dropped in there from the Philadelphia experiment, and then just to show how fierce this thing, and what did I call it? Alios?
Aliath.
Aliath. There,
Aliath.
yeah, comes over and just eats that thing to shreds. But I really feel like maybe like Golden Age Loki maybe made a projection.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
it would be super cool if he shows up. I also started daydreaming. I'm like, what if he was responsible for this whole thing and he's actually the villain?
If you cast Richard E. Grant, he's kind of always the villain.
So that's what. So I was like, what if there's neither another?
But why would he help them though?
Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just playing with them. Maybe there's another old Richard E. Grant variant in the house, and that could be another thing. It's probably Kang, but I was just daydreaming about that. I was like, what if he was? And why would he do this? I was like, well, he said he banished himself kind of to a planet and stayed there for a long time. Maybe he figured, because then he couldn't have any more hurt and couldn't disappoint anybody or whatever, and he'd just stay out there. And then I'm like, what if he just decided, what if I can pull all the Lokis into my world, then I can't hurt anybody but myself, and I won't be lonely. And then I said, Clint, you're drinking too much whiskey, time to get on. So we'll see what happens. It's probably going to be Kang, but either way, such a fantastic I don't know what it is about older British men like that. Like when I see stuff like Gandalf doing something, or as Magneto, there's just something about these distinguished, amazing actors that, like, I mean, they just know what they're doing. And this dude, when he's standing there like casting, like doing, it was awesome.
In the most ridiculous suit ever.
The stupidest suit ever, but it was awesome. It was so cool. It was really fun, and again, it came out of nowhere, and they said we should have seen that coming. You know what I mean? Like, really, they're going to put him in the show just to walk away? We should have seen it coming. You know what I mean? But I didn't. They fooled me. They pulled the old Han Solo trick on me, and he came back and saved him. And that's what Disney does, and that's what Netflix and these other channels need to start figuring out how to do, man. You gotta make some better stuff. These guys have done such a great job at. People are going to argue about whether it was cool or whether it was true to the books or this and that. We're all watching and we're all having fun, and that's cool. And I really do love this episodic format of telling these stories, because all week I'm thinking about these shows. I'm sitting there. I wonder if he's actually the guy behind all this. You know, I'm nerding out in my own brain, and while I'm doing chores and driving around, and I think that's great. If you know, that's what I paid my my monthly $14 a month to do. Is it, you know, I'm getting my money's worth. So thank you, Disney.
So you agreed with Richard E. Grant's like kind of review of episode 5, yeah?
I've just seen Loki episode 5.
Oh,
that's enough of that.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, dude. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I was really excited, and I woke up and I watched it again, and I was like, wow, that was fun. And the best part is that we're gonna get another episode. So
no, this is the thing. I think this last episode is going to be massive. That's what I think. Like, so let's go into like theory territory. So the end of the episode, spoilers by the way, but yeah. So you see a portal kind of opened up, don't you, towards what looks like a castle. So I guess whoever's in this castle is the person behind it all, right?
Right.
I'm just getting Wizard of Oz vibes this whole time. If it's not a Loki, I'll be really, really, really surprised. I don't think it's Kang, because I don't think Kang the Conqueror is going to come into this until Ant-Man, and I don't think it's going to be the version of Kang the Conqueror that is in the comics. I think he's going to have something to do with the timeline, but I don't think he's going to be behind it all. And also in the comics, I think Kang the Conqueror is always trying to hide from Goliath.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit of a weird, like, kind of
in the comics. in the comics, Lady Loki doesn't look like the Enchantress either. So
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
you know what I mean? It could be kind of a nod, also. So you know what I mean? Like, hey, let's throw that in there as just like as a guard dog instead. Like, yeah.
It worked well as a kind of I quite liked that, and I also think what's going to happen with Ravencroft, like, because she's also trying to find whoever's behind all of this as well. So there are a lot of kind of
Renslayer, Ravonna Renslayer.
Yeah, not Ravencroft,
Yeah.
Renslayer. That's it. Yeah, sorry. There are all these kind of converging almost timelines going on between what Loki and Sylvie are doing, what she's doing. And also, I mean, now you've just brought this whole thing into my head of what classic Loki, I think in the thing they call him classic Loki, is really up to. Like, is that going? Also, the sequence in which, so you see President Loki, so played by Tom Hiddleston. That scene was brilliant. Seeing all of the Lokis fight each other was just hilarious, and seeing them all double cross one another is brilliant. I just loved it. I love that scene so much. If I was to have one little gripe about it, I'm not a big fan of Kid Loki. I think he's a bit I don't know, the characters
like pompous kind of.
And a bit kind of I just think it's maybe something about hearing English kids in things like this. Like I had this problem with the Harry Potter movies as well. I just never really believed them. Like, I was like, they've just sound like they've learnt their lines off by heart and are regurgitating it, and there's no real kind of it feels a bit like they're in another kind of kids TV show, and they've just kind of like wandered onto the sets of Loki, and it's like, right, now you do this. And I mean, yeah, Reese says you could say Edward, Kid Loki is a bit of a dick. So, yeah, there's a bit of that as well. That's the only problem I had with the episode. Apart from that, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was great, and I just wonder what's going to happen. I also feel, and I want to go back and watch it. I might just wait for the 5th episode to come out, but or the 6th episode to come out. But I feel like I remember an image of Loki holding Mjolnir, like the real one. And Mjolnir's still over in the rubble somewhere. So I wonder if Loki's going to do something when everything comes to a head. Loki's going to do something where it's going to be like put his hand out and it's going to like come to his hand because all of a sudden he's worthy. You know what I mean?
Like he goes past him and goes to Sylvie.
Or that would be cool too. You know what I mean? Like, but like if somehow like in like the climax of the show, you know, he becomes worthy, because they're not going to, I mean, I guess they could just throw in that in there for an Easter egg, but we saw it, and I feel like we saw him holding it at one point. So we'll see.
I have to go through that again.
I might be crazy, but I'm almost certain I saw some footage in one of the trailers or something that where he was holding the hammer, and I remember it because I was looking at it and I thought it was both. Is that boastful Loki's hammer? And it didn't look like a railroad tie type of a thing. This looked like real Mjolnir. So
yeah, like the hammer that boastful Loki has isn't Mjolnir, is it? It's something that he's crafted himself to look like it, because
it's a piece of a railroad tie with something connected to it. It's what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't really understand the kind of negativity around this show. I think it's been brilliant from start to finish. I think Tom Hiddleston's been great in it. I think Sophia DiMartino is brilliant in it as well. I think Sylvie's a great new character. I love the fact that they've done this weird kind of love story between Loki and Loki. I think it's just so out there, and something that a lot of people might have been like, are we really doing this? And they're like, yeah, we're doing this. So I'm happy that they did that. And I do get a sense. I understand when people compare it to Doctor Who, because I really do think there's like a Doctor Who vibe about it. But also, I think like this is like the best Doctor Who ever, basically. so I'm fine with that, because I actually used to really like that show. And I hope they. I'm excited for episode 6. It's the finale, so it's going to be a big one. I hope they kind of explore this a bit more in the future as well. I hope Sylvie doesn't go off and is no longer part of the MCU. I hope they kind of bring her into it as well. And I also do hope that Richard E. Grant's in the final episode, because I love Richard E. Grant. And
there's supposed to be another sequel to like another season 2 to Loki, from what I understand.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
well, there are
what I've heard.
rumors. There are rumors. There's
Yeah.
nothing
Concrete. Yeah.
concrete. Yeah, Prince Zodiac thinks I want to get Kid Loki fired. Is that true? No, I never said that. I just, it's just something that I don't think the character quite works, but that's just personal. I'm not the actor. He's obviously told to do that, and it's not his fault.
Quit dwarfing on Kid Loki, man.
I'm not dwarfing all over Kid Loki. It was just the only aspect of the episode that kind of pulled me out of it a bit. Was and I think it's just me hearing kids with English accents. That's my problem.
I killed Thor.
I killed Thor. I killed him. I did. I swear I killed him. And then it's like, why is it his domain? That's the other thing I don't kind of understand. Why, if classic Loki's been around for so long, why is Kid Loki the one that's kind of in charge of everything? And really,
because he's wearing the crown, man.
Yeah,
if you're wearing the crown,
I think something's going to happen with Alligator Loki. I think he's going to be double. I think he's going to double cross them, and it isn't actually a Loki. I don't know. I just get that feeling about him. He's suspicious.
it's been Alligator Loki all along.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna find.
I think Alligator Loki's the one behind it all. I think that'd be quite fun. But then again, there is an episode of Doctor Who where the villain turns out to be a frog. And I remember watching that episode. I had to review it when I was at the Express, and I was like, "What is this show? It's so bad now." Like that's one of the latest seasons, and I remember watching it. I'm done with this crap. But that would be. But if it was, I'd understand it there, because that would have they would have set that up, and everyone seems to like Alligator Loki. Literally, it looked like in Doctor Who, the frog just looked like a hand puppet, and there's just like some guy just going. Rawr. It was terrible.
There are some weird Doom Patrol episodes too, where there's like, have you watched that show, Doom Patrol?
Yeah, I watched the first season.
It's weird, man. They go into a like a cow's butt or something one time.
I remember that.
And then there's also like this I think it's a cockroach that's sitting there like on the street, and like there's some weird stuff, and I'm starting to get those kind of vibes with the show all of a sudden. I'm like, this is getting weird. We'll see how it goes next week. I have a feeling it's gonna we're gonna get the villain right up front at the beginning of the episode. Right, they're going to get in that house and get right up to that, and then it's going to take the whole episode to resolve everything. So
you don't think it's just going to be an empty castle and no one's in it, and then they kind of go, "Oh, maybe we're the ones that are in charge of all this."
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
Because so you definitely think there's going to be a villain?
I think that there'll be some kind of villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, the way these shows have gone. There kind of hasn't been, like, you kind of known, like with Falcon and Winter Soldier, you knew that it was Sharon Carter,
right?
And with WandaVision, everyone was like, "Oh, Mephisto's coming," and then it's like, "No, it's Agatha." I think we've seen the villain already. That's what I'm saying. I think the villain. I don't think it's going to be a big reveal that it's like a Kang the Conqueror. I think it's going to be someone we've already seen.
Well, Richard E. Grant did give a long speech about banishing himself for the reasons of not wanting. I think he said something like he didn't want to hurt anyone or disappoint anymore, and long life, and he stayed there till he got bored. I wonder if he got bored and then just went after all the Lokis, or
decided to create the TVA.
Or who knows? I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the TVA was there and he took over them. He tricked them and then took over a long time ago.
But it would make sense that it was a Loki, because the idea of putting the three lizard people or whatever they are and like making them animatronics is kind of a Loki thing to do. Like a weird kind of he's like a trickster almost, isn't he? That's what he is, really. Yeah. So I just think that Loki's behind it. That's my theory. I don't think a Kang the Conqueror is behind it.
I don't know, but you got to think Ravonna Renslayer. You're gonna have Kang with the guy from Lovecraft Country. I can't think. I don't have his name right now. He's gonna be Kang in the new Ant-Man. Yeah. There you go. In the new Ant-Man. He's a fantastic actor, by the way. And So I mean, there is a connection. We are going to have Kang, so it's not like we're just making up villains that you know what I mean. We are going to have Kang, and they are connected, and so it makes sense. But I feel like that's too obvious of an answer, and I think they're going to piss everybody off, and it's going to be a variant Loki that's responsible for this.
It'll be Ralph Boner.
Yes, restore the Bonerverse.
Yeah. Right. Well, we both like Loki. Shall we move on to the Bad Batch?
Bad Batch. I haven't finished finished this episode, and I just looked at the clock. Normally I'm down to talk for hours, but I have a band practice here coming up pretty soon, so I've got to skate here pretty quick.
Okay, I'll talk very briefly about the Bad Batch. It's good. It's fine. It brings in Hera. I'm bad with names. Hera from the she's in the Rebels series. And it was kind of like the Bad Batch wasn't really involved. They just gave some weapons to a guy, and then he gets caught. I think it's a bit of a filler episode, personally. I thought it was fine. Interesting to see like the beginning of Hera.
I fell asleep not because it was boring, but I was dying and I was trying to watch it, and I fell asleep. And I'm gonna get back to it tonight. But okay. I think I looked up. I thought maybe she got recast, but I looked her up and it looked like it's the same voice actor.
Really?
It's that but she was speaking with more of a French accent. And that was okay. and there is a Rebels episode where she where her dad, like, she goes and her parents are in the episode, and they have French accents. And you know, and it's almost brought up, but then as she goes into her home world and is around her parents more, you start hearing a little tinge of it coming out. So I was like, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's one of those things when she leaves, you know, some people move away from New York City, they kind of lose their New York accent a little bit. I don't know if that's what's going on, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, they recast Hera, and it's from what I understand, unless again I was falling asleep, but I was like, did they recast her? I was on my phone and I woke up with my phone stuck to my face. So it looks like it's still her.
I mean, I think it was a fine episode. I thought episode 10 was a bit better, but I think these last two episodes haven't been as interesting for me. I don't know why. I think they're just a bit filler.
I think that now that they've set the foundation for the show, they're going to do what they did every once in a while on Clone Wars, and they did have just a so-so episode every once in a while. Everyone wasn't a home run, but as they're throwing in characters that we know and love, that's kind of like, oh, hey, cool, they got Hera in this one. Hey, they got Cad Bane in this one, and I think all of the fans are going to appreciate that. And you can't treat this the way people are trying to treat Loki, to where like, nothing really happened. We only got a whole bunch of Lokis fighting in a giant monster in a epic scene with the Ride of the Valkyries song playing in the background and all this amazing Easter eggs and stuff. Yeah, but nothing really happened. Well, don't even bother watching Bad Batch. Just go go home.
Just go and have fun with Stephen Dorff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you love Star Wars, you'll enjoy this episode. I could tell you because I fell asleep and I actually want to go back and finish it. So that's a good sign.
Cool. So, and with that, I think we'll end the show. And thank you so much, Clint. Go and have fun in your band practice.
Yeah, I will. Dude, thank you, man. I always have a good time. James, if you watch this, we missed you as always. And,
it was a very like oddly smooth episode. Normally he keeps us on our feet a bit more. But but Clint, you're in James's apartment right now. So
yes, I'm in James's apartment. I've got him tied up in the corner. That's why he's not here. But yeah.
Right. Well, and with that, we'll say thank you so much for watching. You can find Clint. Where can we find you? The OG Clint Baker.
Yeah, on Twitter, the OG Clint Baker is how you can get a hold of me or see my stupid tweets. And if you want to check out some of my videos, youtube.com/Clint Baker channel. That's awesome. Me. Yes,
and
sir.
Thank you to all our Patreons. And got Kazakh's. No, is Kazakh's Patreon? Probably Bobby, the Sax God, Sean Harrigan, then who else have we got? I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I've missed someone out, and I do apologize.
Hey,
Danzig.
Hey, James. Danzig. Yeah, James said he was He's like,
yeah, you can find Small Screen everywhere at Small Screen Co. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll
Shut up,
see
James.
we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, and goodbye.
I've just seen Loki, episode 5, and it's everything you'd hoped it would have been. I cheered, I cried, I fist pumped the air. It's everything, just everything you could have hoped it would have been. I'm so excited for you to see it.